Hey, what's going on, you guys? Hey, welcome back to another episode of I Trek. Hey, man, shout out to everybody on this beautiful Sunday, man. Hey, answer me this. If you could teleport anywhere, where would it be? Apparently, there's a FEMA official who claims he was teleported to a Waffle House. Yeah, I know, right? Hey, we're gonna take a look at it along with a lot of other interesting and creepy clips. But before we jump into that, do me the biggest favor and hit that hype button for me, hit that like button, and subscribe if you're not already a part of the iTrack fam, and we're gonna jump straight into it.
He said he was teleported to a Waffle House. Okay, it sounds kind of odd, but what makes this story even more out of this world is that Greg Phillips was a high-ranking FEMA official. Well, apparently he's now leaving the agency because, according to the Washington Post, Phillips stepped away from his role because of the bizarre comments and his claims about voters in 2016. Now FEMA is confirming his departure and says he played a pivotal role in stabilizing the Office of Recovery and Response. Our Perry Russum has more for us.
Greg Phillips, a high-ranking official at the Federal Emergency Management Agency, has reportedly been put on leave after drawing controversy for his past remarks, including claims that he once teleported to a Waffle House restaurant.
It was an incredibly frightening moment to experience yourself in your car flying through the air. Teleporting is no fun. I was with my boys one time and I was telling I was going to go to Waffle House, and I end up at a Waffle House like 50 miles away from where I was.
Phillips also claimed without evidence that millions of people voted illegally in the 2016 election, posting on social media at the time, number of non-citizen votes exceeds 3 million. The comments were made before the Trump administration appointed him to lead FEMA's disaster response team last December. A person familiar with the situation reportedly told the Washington Post Phillips has been asked to step away from his role because of concerns about how he's publicly perceived. Phillips also reportedly clashed with other leaders in the Homeland Security Department, which oversees FEMA.
I think they probably gave him the boot because he was telling too much truth, if you ask me.
You know what's funny? You don't need a degree to own a business, but you need a degree to work for the people that do.
There's absolutely no lies detected there. Hey, marinate on that.
Fun fact of the day. Damage from woodpeckers delayed the 1995 launch of the Space Shuttle Discovery.
So you're telling me that multiple people on 4 separate occasions claim they seen zombies?
So I know there's all this zombie talk going on, but it's so crazy. I'm at my son's football practice, right? And I'm like, let me just look down. Just randomly just look down at the cars and walking past them. What do I see in front of me? I'm gonna show you. Okay, so this is the street, all right? This is the car. As I'm walking past the car to go up here, I look down, and what do I see? This shit says Zombie Outbreak Response Team.
Now, if y'all remember, there were claims that the CIA mentioned things about zombies. Well, look up here and see what it says right there. And I need you to read and understand the right way. Pay attention. And then you have the CDC, and this is from ChatGPT, where the CDC released a Preparedness 101 Zombie Apocalypse. And we fast forward back to now. Use your discretion. What's really going on?
So you're telling me that multiple people on 4 separate occasions claim they seen zombies, claim they came in contact with zombie-like people, and everybody is lying? There are people posting videos showing genuine fear, claiming that there is a potential zombie apocalypse happening right now. Now, baby, hear me out. You have the woman in North Carolina. Her and her husband were walking, and they claimed they saw a woman eating something that wasn't normal. Then you have reports out of the UK where people were saying they witnessed a group of people that resembled zombies consuming other people. Then you have videos from Tennessee. Somebody claimed they were in Walmart and saw one person bite another person. They said Walmart was locked down. The person who got bit was taken to the hospital. And after that, they completely changed. Now, here's the crazy part. There were claims that the CIA mentioned things about zombies before. Then you have the CDC, which even released a zombie apocalypse preparedness campaign. Now, fast forward to today, use your discretion. What's really going on? And be honest. Am I the only one who thinks this is a little weird?
What the fuck? What the fuck? What the... Oh.
Now, that wasn't no zombie. She was either on them drugs or he had a really extreme fatal attraction. One of the two.
Why does European Parliament have a sculpture of what appears to be a reptilian creature holding a human household in a box? I'm just asking questions, but give me your thoughts on this.
It's not a stumble. It's a sudden, forceful jolt. Exactly the kind of motion you'd make if someone had shoved you.
Apparently, the people living in Paris are in serious trouble because the city just had its hottest day ever, which resulted in 40 people losing their lives. I mean, when users online heard about this, they thought the temperatures were like 100 degrees plus, but it was actually just 29 degrees Celsius, which is barely 80 degrees Fahrenheit. And I guess because that was so hot for them, a bunch of them jumped into the nearby river to cool off, which resulted in a bunch of them drowning. And even though the whole situation is very sad, people in the comments are more so confused because in the United States and a lot of other parts of the world, we consider 29 degrees Celsius to be good weather. I mean, where I live right now, it's 105 outside, and that's when it's cloudy. So technically, this is a good day for us too.
I'm watching this live video, and it looks like the people are not blinking, but the ocean is like, look at skipping. Now look at the people though. They're okay. Look at the ocean. Is that weird? Why is the ocean, but the people are not skipping? See the ocean in the background, look. Tripping out.
I'm not sure what kind of glitch that was, but if you missed it, definitely rewind it back and focus on the ocean. Now, at the side of your eye, you'll see the people continuously there. There's something strange with that.
Hollywood is evil.
Look at her. She's so sweet.
Hey, she powerful too.
Yeah, I did magic on my brother yesterday.
Don't talk, sweetheart. It's okay. You're a silly man. I can talk to kids.
She powerful.
I know.
Because you know, that's a lot of people right there.
In that IG live clip, we clearly see Kevin Gates and what seems to be his daughter. Kevin Gates for a long time has claimed to have powers from a world we can't see. So in the midst of him talking about him and his daughter being powerful, we hear her say, "I did magic on my brother yesterday." It's at that point that Kevin Gates covers her mouth and starts shaking his head. We even hear the little girl say, "Why did you cover my mouth?" And Kevin Gates reply, "You know, there's just too many people on here." What? I also found these cover arts of Kevin Gates showing a little symbolism. Here we see him covering his mouth. Some say that's the vow of silence. And here we see more of the symbolism. Keep in mind, this is the same man who went on multiple interviews and podcasts and claimed that he turned a car battery back on with his bare hands. People have long hypothesized that magic, magicians, and...
What I was about to ask you, though, was how demonic is Hollywood?
It is filthy. I've never seen anything like it because there are no consequences to doing what they do. We're saying in my world, you'd wind up dead in a gutter for this, or in a back alley, or with some broken bones behind doing what I'm listening to, but they giggle about it. And that's just the way they operate. Things got rather filthy. And the earlier scene where the gangsters had his house under surveillance and they saw the woman bring her daughter in one evening, and then the next morning she was hobbling because the guy had deflowered her. That's Hollywood.
Morbid Facts, Part 1001. That feels weird to say, wow. Former fitness model Lonnie Willison once appeared on magazine covers and lived a glamorous Hollywood lifestyle while she was married to former Baywatch actor Jeremy Jackson. But after her turbulent marriage with him ended, she reportedly struggled with severe mental illness, addiction, and financial collapse, eventually losing her job, apartment, and car before becoming homeless in Los Angeles. She's since been photographed searching through dumpsters for food and pushing all her belongings in a shopping cart. Wilson has said she deliberately keeps herself dirty and foul-smelling because she believes it makes her less likely to be assaulted while sleeping on the streets. Despite repeated offers of housing, rehab, and financial help from friends, she's consistently refused assistance, saying she prefers to live independently. In 1995, Mr. T was diagnosed with T-cell lymphoma. True to his larger-than-life personality, his first reaction was to joke, "Can you imagine that? Cancer with my name on it. Personalized cancer." After undergoing years of chemotherapy and radiation, he beat the disease and has remained cancer-free ever since. In 1976, a camper near the Gaines Rock Pit in the Florida Keys was approached by a hippie-looking stranger who offered to show him a human skeleton for 25 cents. After seeing the partially decomposed remains, the camper immediately contacted authorities. The victim was eventually identified as 15-year-old Stephanie Sempel, who had disappeared months earlier after hitchhiking to the Florida Keys. Nearly 50 years later, Stephanie's murder still remains unsolved.
Big name basketball player needed a cleansing.
You have celebrities consistently calling your phone, asking you to work specifically on court cases. Is there other things that they ask you for as well?
Yeah.
Without saying any names, can you just tell me what has been asked for?
So, big name basketball player needed a cleansing. Went to their house and did a cleansing.
Was it a cleansing like they were possessed or?
No, they were waiting on a championship ring. They were supposed to have gotten 3 years prior. So many things just kept getting in the way. They couldn't, and they wanted their championship ring. They deserved it. That was the main reason for the cleanse, is because they thought that maybe something was going on that was stopping that ring from getting to them. And they got their cleansing, and the following week they got the ring.
Was there something blocking? Is that what you're doing? You're removing what's blocking, which is considered the cleanse.
Right. That particular cleanse was to remove whatever was blocking that ring from getting to that person. Because, I mean, it was a plethora of things.
There's this video of a 4DX movie theater in Japan, and I'm thinking, like, what are they gonna do? Spray some water on me in the ocean scene? Excuse me, what? I can feel that through the screen. I felt that from here. And this isn't just the angle either. She's ducking for cover. He's scared out of his mind. This has to just be real. Like, I felt the water from here. I'm wet.
Alright, y'all want to talk about the Raelion movement? I haven't done a video about cults in a while, and I thought this would be a good one. But this one was started in 1974 by this dude named Claude Vollahorn. I hope I'm saying that right. But he was a French former race car driver and journalist. And he says that his life was changed when he encountered an extraterrestrial. But in December of 1973, he was hiking near a volcanic region when he said the flying saucer landed. And what he says, a small humanoid stepped out casually and introduced himself. And these aliens are called Elohim. And unlike most UFO cults, they don't believe that they're gods. Instead, they believe that they're an advanced alien civilization that mastered genetic engineering and created all life on Earth in laboratories about 25,000 years ago. And they're serious about these aliens. They're actually building an embassy for these aliens when they return back to Earth. But they said the only way that these aliens will return is if humanity builds a neutral, diplomatic embassy where they can land peacefully. I guess that volcano wasn't as safe. And the members of this cult have actually spent decades trying to convince different governments to donate land for this purpose. But expect a deep dive video on this very soon, because I got so much I want to talk about with this one.
Most of the comments on this video think it's AI, which is understandable, but it's not. Meet the planarian flatworm. It's a carnivorous species of worm that's found in dark places all over the world. And according to scientists, they are biologically immortal. In other words, they can't die from natural causes. But not only that, they also have the best regeneration abilities of any creature on Earth. They're basically indestructible. If you were to chop one of these bad boys in half, Both halves will turn into two completely new worms. In fact, one researcher chopped one of these up into 279 pieces. You know what happened? 279 new worms happened. You can't kill it. You can only give it teammates. But the wild part is when you chop them up into pieces, all the pieces will have the same memories. And because of that, it's raised a whole bunch of questions regarding where memory is actually stored. Moral of the story, there's a chance that the movie Venom might have been a documentary. And as always, follow for more facts.
That insect easily entered top 2 creepiest insect alive. It literally looks like it came from another planet. Definitely tap in and let me know what you think.
So that is a northern stargazer. See that W on his head? That can produce up to 50 volts of electricity if you were to touch the center of that W between his eyes. And on the back there, on his dorsal fin, are venomous spines. So he's kind of got venom and electric. And he's generally right at your feet while you go at the beach.
I think that there is an argument that it could unearth a lot of people's religious beliefs. It could unearth a lot of people's norms and more ways and how we think, but I think now is the time.
You're a man of Muslim faith.
Yes, sir.
How does it affect your faith?
It doesn't affect it at all. I think it confirms and reaffirms what I've found in the Quran and other religious traditions.
It fascinates me, the Quran actually has a lot of stuff that indicates, I think, the very plausible possibility that they saw and recorded you.
Absolutely. You're a very wise man. Keep him, give him a raise. He's tough.
But no, it's interesting. I'm fascinated by the fact that both the Bible and the Quran have incidents in them that do appear to suggest anomalous phenomena.
Absolutely. So for many folks, their faith will be solidified and reaffirmed. For others, it could be unearthed.
Today, the Texas Board of Education approved a new statewide reading list that includes certain passages from the Bible as required reading for millions of public school students. The board voted 9-5 in favor of the new initiative, which will take effect in 2030.
This gotta be a joke, right?
Okay, Subway has some explaining to do because this is their so-called new hot dog. I don't even know if that's allowed to be called a hot dog. What is that?
Your bathroom just became obsolete because China built a toilet that comes to you. China's Yueban just unveiled Shouban, an AI-powered toilet robot designed for seniors and people too lazy to reach the bathroom. Instead of struggling to walk, users press one button and the robot drives itself over. It avoids obstacles, lines up with existing toilets without remodeling, then automatically handles waste disposal, cleaning, washing, and warm air drying. The system even locks itself in place for safety and uses odor control features to keep rooms fresh. Would you trust a robot like this in your home, or is this a step too far?
Now tell me, at this point, what hasn't China created? They have thought of it all.
Did you have to sacrifice something literally?
Yes. You cannot do any type of work without giving offering. So this lady brought her son to us. The kid was all f***ed up. So we started our work. So I had to put the family at a table together, put salt around the table and some other things to make sure they were protected. And we started this cleansing. Oh my God. 3 hours fighting, literally physically fighting this boy. And all of a sudden I turn around and look at the lady and I said, it was his mom. I said, it's you. You owe the spirit blood. You asked for something a long time ago and you never paid. And this is the consequence. She was just...
Like she didn't give a f***.
Like she didn't give a f***. So I was like, that's it. Stop the cleansing. We can't do anything for him until she gives the blood. We can't help him. So I told her she had to sacrifice a beef. That's what Spirit wanted. And 3 weeks later, she calls and she says, hey, I did that. Can I bring my son back now so he can get help? And I said, what did you do? She said, we did a chicken. I said, that's not what I told you to do. Don't call me no more.
What happened to the boy?
I don't know.
Best way to tell if someone's possessed, they have a butterfly tattoo. Every single you see on the planet has a butterfly tattoo. Why? Because whenever they get possessed by a demon or by a jinn, the jinn wants to fucking show the other fucking jinns around them, I got this person. And they basically think they're better than us humans. So they're calling us caterpillars and they're calling themselves evolved butterflies. That's why they always put a butterfly tattoo on them. It's degeneracy at its finest form. 99.9% of women who have a butterfly tattoo are degenerates.
Your moles are a hidden map of how slowly you're aging. And the more of them you have, the younger your body is on the inside. People spend their lives wishing they had fewer, but they have it backwards. Researchers compared people covered in moles to people with barely any, and found something nobody expected. The people with more than 100 moles had a biological age 6 to 7 years younger than the people with under 25. Same birthday, completely different aging speed. The reason is your telomeres, the protective caps on the ends of your DNA that get shorter every year and control how fast your cells age. People with lots of moles have longer telomeres, which means slower aging in your heart, your muscles, your bones, everywhere. Your moles fade as you get older. So keeping a lot of them is a sign your whole body is aging in slow motion. The biggest thing that shortens those telomeres after genetics is chronic stress. The neural reset protocol lowers the stress load that is quietly aging you. Tap the link in my profile.
I often get comments and DMs from men telling me that my forehead is huge, that is big. I'm not even trying to be funny, bro, but look, men think that this is big. They think that this is huge. Yeah, they see that's the problem.
Wait a minute, is she trying to say?
Remember the pink liquid with living brain cells that went viral? Well, there's another company doing the same thing, but completely different. Meet Final Spark. While Cortical Labs sells biocomputers for $35,000, Final Spark rents access to living neurons for $500 a month that you can access on your laptop. 2 weeks ago, a BBC reporter visited their Swiss lab and held tiny white organoids, clusters of 10,000 human neurons the size of a fruit fly brain. 10 universities worldwide are using them right now. University of Bristol used organoids as the brain of a robot that reads Braille letters. Johns Hopkins uses them for Alzheimer's research. But here's the creepy part. These organoids die after 4 months, and scientists have recorded over 2,000 deaths in the past 5 years. One researcher was mid-experiment when his organoid died and he had to start over. And here's what's insane. Right before they die, there's a massive spike in brain activity, just like what happens to humans at the end of life. One researcher told the BBC, "We're treating this like a machine, but that's probably a mistake. Training an organoid isn't like writing code. It's like raising a child. You give it patterns, reward it with dopamine when it's correct, and watch the neurons rewire themselves. Human neurons are 1 million times more energy efficient than digital processors." Scientists spent decades copying the brain with AI. Cortical Labs and Final Spark just said, screw it, let's ship the actual brain instead.
Sam Altman says, I think in the future we're going to treat intelligence like a utility, like electricity or the internet, where you just rent it from us. We need to start bullying them more. We got to get the numbers up. This is unacceptable. Do you hear me? This thing isn't even plugged into my phone. You know, I can't believe that these fucking dorks run society. I really can't. It's stealing my breath. It really is. And I just, how dare they even think that they have a vision of the future, man? What the fuck is their vision? Their vision is what? That they like sit in some bunker off the coast of Hawaii or off the coast of New Zealand while we breathe not breathable air, while we fight over not edible food. And then if we want to like, what? Write an email, we have to pay them 3 cents? What the fuck are these people talking about? This is not open AI. This is open season.
What you'll never see at the Home Depot, you will never see a truck pulling in or pulling out delivering any products, because the government does not want you to know this right here, because they're hiding it. They're hiding it from you, and I'm about to uncover it. On top of public housing, because they don't give a damn about people that live in public housing. See the public housing right there? Right there. You can see all of the beams that they shoot out that creates every single product inside and outside of Home Depot out of the ether plasma from all of the frequency that is shot out. You don't believe me? When's the last time you saw a product being delivered inside or outside of the Home Depot? Because it doesn't exist.
What does, the paralegal do at a law firm? They do discovery, which is essentially pattern recognition, which is very easy for AI to do. Similarly, entry-level people at accounting firm, right? All that is going to mean white-collar work. College-educated graduates are going to have a more challenging job environment. Well, when you improve productivity, you can make more, and so it shouldn't mean, if you get less productive, that's bad, and if you get more productive, that's good. It means you can free up these people to have smaller class size or have longer vacations or to help do more. So it's not a bad thing.
It's been a while since I've found it, but here it is.
Do you remember when Michael Jordan's dad was kidnapped and the kidnappers made Michael Jordan quit the NBA and start playing baseball? And then when he sucked at baseball, they killed his dad? I do. I'm Mel Z. I talk about death, true crime, and dark pop culture lore, so if you're a weirdo too, follow me. Okay, so it didn't exactly happen like that, but for some reason, that's how I remember it. But turns out the actual truth of it is much darker and way more senseless. James Jordan Sr. wasn't just Michael Jordan's father. He was one of the most important people in his life. A military veteran, mechanic, husband, and father of 5, James was deeply involved in his son's career from the very beginning. On July 23, 1993, James was driving home through North Carolina. At some point during the trip, he pulled over to rest in his car. While he was sleeping, 2 teenagers noticed his car. The red Lexus was a gift from Michael Jordan and carried a distinctive personalized license plate. Police believed they intended to rob him, but instead James Jordan was shot and killed. The teens stole the car and dumped James's body in a swamp. For weeks, his family had no idea where he was. And about 2 weeks later, a body was discovered. When the suspects realized the cops were likely after them, they looted the car, taking several of James Jordan's prized possessions, including Michael Jordan's 1986 NBA All-Star ring and an NBA championship watch that Michael had given his father as a gift. Then they drove the car to the woods, stripped it, vandalized it, and left it there. Later, one of the teens filmed himself rapping while wearing the watch and ring. Investigators traced several calls that were made from James's car phone, and those calls led police to 2 18-year-olds, Larry Demery and Daniel Green. Both men were eventually convicted of murder and robbery and received life sentences. Demery later claimed that the shooting wasn't supposed to happen and that Green was the one who actually pulled the trigger. Green has maintained for years that he was not responsible and has continued to challenge the conviction. Much of the evidence was mishandled, including James Jordan's shirt, which at some point was buried outside of a police warehouse, reportedly with no bullet hole in the chest. Once it was dug up, they found a bullet hole. For Michael Jordan, the loss was devastating. Just a few months later, he shocked the sports world by retiring from basketball. One of James Jordan's longtime wishes was for Michael Jordan to play professional baseball. Michael later said that after his father's death, playing baseball felt like a way to honor him. In February 1994, Michael signed a minor league contract with the Chicago White Sox. He returned to basketball in 1995, and a conspiracy was born. The theory goes that Michael Jordan was actually suspended from the NBA for gambling, and that he used baseball as a cover-up. That's what some people think, but who knows? More than 30 years later, the murder of James Jordan Sr. remains one of the most talked about and tragic stories in sports history. What do you think? Do you remember this story? Did you have it mixed up in your head like I did?
So far, ain't no Illuminati come and help me with nothing.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? I personally, man, I believe in God. I'm a man who fears God, and I pray to God, you know,
There's not a single study which shows that exercise helps you live longer. And when I started looking into that, I found that there's never been a single professional athlete ever lived to be 100. My red flags began to go up because if exercise was good for you, there should be a significant percentage of professional athletes living to be 100 because nobody exercises more than professional athletes, and they get paid to do it, so they're not going to cheat. Well, you start looking at some of the famous athletes that should have done well. People like Jesse Owens, the first man to ever win 4 gold medals in the Olympics, in the same Olympics. He died at 66. Jim Thorpe and Red Grange, and there was Babe Ruth and Lou Gehrig. The reason why athletes don't fare so well is because athletes sweat more in 5 years than couch potatoes do in 75 years. When you're sweating, you're not just sweating out water, you're sweating out a soup that contains all 60 essential minerals. They're called essential minerals because if any of them are missing for any length of time, you get some horrible degenerative disease, many of which are life-threatening. So this is a no-brainer. Who's more likely to die of one of these life-threatening mineral deficiency diseases? An athlete who's sweating out quarts and quarts of this mineral-rich soup every day, or a couch potato in an air-conditioned den laying on the couch, belching and farting and eating popcorn and surfing through the channels, but not sweating?
Hey, how ironic is that? All the people doing hot yoga and the people that are doing these marathons and all the sweating that you're doing isn't ultimately helping you live longer. Apparently, pretty wild.
This is a fish with anger issues. Meet the red-tooth triggerfish. And yes, those teeth are actually red, but their babies are a completely different story. Young triggerfish doesn't have a teeth, pale color and thin, then grows up into a fish with red vampire teeth. But here's where things get weird. Those bright red teeth aren't stained with blood. They're naturally colored from crushing tiny crustaceans and hard-shelled prey with jaws strong enough to crack them like potato chips. And the creepy part? They have been known to bite divers, snorkelers, if you get too close to their nest. During mating season, they claim a territory and attack anything that enters. Their bite can take a chunk out of wetsuits and fingers. And in Hawaii, they're called humu humu, which translates to sew your toe back on. So, would you dare go for a swim with this dental nightmare?
No.
This can't be real. I just saw this on X. This can't be real. Tell me if I'm wrong.
In our history has stood more for God than this president. He has been unashamed to speak the word of Jesus. He's been unashamed to speak up for all faiths. And he established this commission so that we would assure Americans their religious liberty, that this great inheritance from our founding fathers would continue for another 250 years. And Mr. President, we believe this will be one of your greatest legacies, and you happen to be the perfect president to be here in the 250th celebration. The question is, what is religious liberty? And if governments can do that, then they become God. The president spoke earlier today of the communist threat in this country. We know what communists do around the world. They remove God.
What the fuck was that? What the fuck was that?
Apparently there's this pastor that's going viral because of the ridiculous sermons that she gives during church. Instead of being like a normal priest and talking about God and doing good deeds, she basically spends the entire time forcing people to donate thousands and thousands of dollars. I mean, she talks so fast that it's kind of hard to keep up, but basically in the same sentence, she tells people to take out their checkbooks, and if they don't, a bunch of children are going to die.
I want $100,000. This isn't for me. This is about kids that will die without you being obedient.
But considering her own personal net worth is over $5 million, her tricks are clearly working, and honestly, people should probably stop listening to her.
This clip is in its original speed. I took some screenshots, and then I slowed it down. You can see whatever these things are flying through my closed windows.
How crazy is it that you're working with? Can you just roll this?
Let me put this back on.
This is just a personal thing. How crazy is it that you are working with Elon Musk, today's Tesla?
Yeah, absolutely.
And when Tesla died, it was your genius uncle that was sent to try to figure out what papers should be kept.
Isn't it great?
How crazy is that?
Actually, so my uncle was a great, brilliant man, my father's brother. My father was working very hard to put my uncle through MIT and all that. And when my uncle graduated, he was so brilliant that MIT said, why don't you stay here, become a professor?
It's crazy.
Which is pretty good. He 3 different degrees.
Yeah.
He really was amazing. But as he went through life, he was very successful as a professor at MIT. But he was also very successful at other things, like discovering genius things. And the United States government gave him an assignment of finding out whether or not Mr. Tesla was the real deal or was he not the real deal. In other words, was he really great or was he just an average guy? And my uncle did a report on it, and you know what was nice? He said he was really great. A lot of people in that position would be jealous.
Yeah.
But he actually said he was great.
And here you are working with today's Tesla.
That's right.
That's so great.
And Elon's a great guy too.
Yeah.
Great
Okay.
guy.
Thanks.
Thank you.
You bet.
Stephanie, an Oklahoma woman and her family have filed a lawsuit against Arby's after a former manager allegedly spat in her food, infecting the customer with oral herpes. The lawsuit says there's surveillance video from the restaurant that shows Amanda Hendricks spitting on ingredients. Now the former Arby's employee faces felony charges, and people are looking up more details on the case. There's no comment yet from Arby's or Hendricks.
Well, Arby's famous slogan is
Arby's, we have the meats.
But apparently they have more than that.
Do you think our world is run by humans? No. If you're asking, do I think that there are hybrids, people who are part human? I mean, every society has always thought that. People are like, oh, that's a crazy concept. Really? Islam, Judaism, Christianity all believe that that is a thing. There are people who I know personally, I'm like, oh, this get a weird vibe on them. I'm like, what is it? But I don't know. And I try not to speculate about it, though some of them are really weird.
Hello?
I woke up at 5 o'clock this morning because I felt a stinging pain on my stomach. I went into the bathroom and checked it out and didn't see anything. So I went back to bed and laid down. That's when I heard something scratching inside my pillow. I threw it on the ground and ripped off the pillowcase, and this came crawling out.
Oliver Tree rabbit hole goes way deeper than people think. In 2018, Oliver released the song Hurt, and in the video, he's seen in what looks like a crucifixion-style pose. And the lyrics read, I sold my soul, I'm waiting for my pay in full. And this is where people misunderstand selling your soul. It does not always look like a secret blood contract. Sometimes it looks like giving your heart to fame, success, or art, while rejecting the one that can actually save you. Jesus said, for what will it profit a man if he gains the whole world and forfeits his soul? And sadly, he thought he had it all figured out.
I had an LSD trip where I actually watched my own funeral, and I had what's called a rebirth. And then music became my savior, my healing, my religion, and it gave me a second chance to take my addiction and become addicted to something that could actually save me.
This is a counterfeit gospel, and what happens next shows where it leads. In 2023, Oliver visited Antarctica and claimed that he found alien bases and was welcoming aliens with open arms. But not every supernatural experience is from God. When you remove Jesus, the path doesn't lead to truth. It leads into deeper deception. Just weeks before his untimely death, he said that he left his record label because he made tens of millions of dollars for them, but they no longer wanted to support his art. So the very system that he claimed was a savior eventually turned their back on him. Jesus said, I will never leave you nor forsake you. The fact is that the world will use you, celebrate you, mock Christ through you, and then abandon you. But Jesus still offers the free gift of salvation. I'm not saying that music is bad. I'm saying that music was never meant to be your savior.
True that you're only famous because you're related to Epstein?
No, I'm not related to Epstein, so that was actually a misconception. So I was connected to people who were connected to Epstein. I had nothing to do with that. But the thing is, like, so, okay, you know Bill Gates. Oh, I'm related to someone who's related to him, so it's like a second cousin twice removed.
So you're related to Bill Gates?
Well, technically, Linda Gates, his ex-wife.
So you're not related to Bill Gates?
Not blood, so yeah.
God doesn't decide who succeeds. His laws do. So think about this. Gravity doesn't care if you're a Christian or not, right? Gravity doesn't care if you prayed this morning. It doesn't care how much faith you have. If you jump off a building, gravity will respond the exact same way every single time. Why? Because God governs his creation through laws. And in fact, your life is the sum of the laws you obey.
What the frick is happening today?
Baby, that looks f***ing weird.
Why does the sun look like that, Eric?
I don't know. You're going to have a lot of really cool video. Wait till it comes out of the trees. There it is, yeah.
Did anybody say anything about the sun today looking like this?
Nope.
Mandela effect. What do you remember?
I could eat about 1.5 million of these. My mom always said life was like a box of chocolates. You never know what you're going to get.
This is my official report about extraterrestrials. Do they exist? First, there's way more evidence to count. Over 11 million pieces of evidence. But my official report, I've been studying for over 25 years. My official report of aliens is that the government is not supposed to let you know. They are not supposed to let other people in the government know. The truth is out there. You can research it you do a term paper on it, 20-page, 40-page, 2-page paper on it. You can go out and do the research on it yourself. You find out the truth. But they're not supposed to. It's too valuable. It's priceless.
I think there's someone in there.
A third donation bag was violently pushed out of the same opening as if someone inside the bin had thrown it. Concerned that someone might be trapped inside, Stoney approached the bin and called out, asking if anyone was there.
Is there someone in there? Can't even see.
She received no response.
Picture was taken in 1952 of the shepherd tending his sheep in this sacred grove that has sat abandoned for 350 years in Italy. So this massive face statue has sat in this wooded valley bottom beneath this very large castle, Castle Orsini, which is one of the largest castles in Italy, in this area called the Gardens of Bamarzo, sometimes called the Park of Monsters because it has all these grotesque statue things. In the 1500s, this specific face was commissioned by Pier Francesco Orsini to cope with the loss of his wife, and this sculpture is supposed to depict the Roman underworld god Orcus. But after Pier Orsini's death, his descendants looked at his garden and decided it was just like the creation of a madman, and they had no interest in maintaining it, and they just thought it was really surreal and had a lot of cryptic statues, and so they abandoned it for nearly 350 years. And it's just crazy to think that there was such a cool place with so many cool creations that was just being swallowed by vegetation and was forgotten for so long, just used for livestock grazing.
Facts about Earth that do not feel real. Our sweet baby girl Earth, she has a heartbeat. Yes, she does. Every 26 seconds, a seismic hum comes from the Earth, and scientists have been hearing it for decades and are still trying to figure out what causes it. Scientists and seismologists have known about this phenomenon since around the 1960s, and whereas you and I can't probably feel or hear this heartbeat, seismometers and other scientists have studied this, still to this day, trying to figure out what causes it. The leading theory here is that off of the coast of West Africa in the Gulf of Guinea, these powerful waves hit Earth's continental shelf, which is also right here. And in doing so, it sends some sort of vibrational shockwave through the continental shelf, and then seismologists are able to track it. But it happens perfectly every 26 seconds, and scientists still have not been able to come to a general consensus. Some researchers believe that maybe volcanic or earthquake activity have something to do with this rhythmic pulse, but none of them are in agreement because there is no specific one thing that they can track. And even still, our beautiful Earth every 26 seconds produces a rhythmic pulse that scientists have been studying for decades and can be tracked by thousands of seismometers around the world. And we're still trying to figure out what makes our Earth beat.
Kobe Bryant made a deal with the devil. He sacrificed himself. And in return, part of that sacrifice was that he was going to live a short life. He came into the NBA saying that I'm going to be the best and I'm going to die early. I'm going to go out in a blaze of glory. To understand that, how in the world would he know that? It's because that's the deal that he made with the devil. That was part of his sacrifice. To understand that, he knew that he had a little bit of time. That's why he operated with such a sense of urgency, because he knew he had a little bit of time. You saw that he was in a rush, went from high school straight into the NBA. He started dating Vanessa. The moment Vanessa turned 18, he married her and they started having kids. He knew time is of the essence. He knew time was running out. He knew he sacrificed a long life. He knew he did not have a long life. He knew that was part of the deal that he made with the devil. So now imagine you are simply working, operating in the physical, you going against that individual. You don't stand a chance.
Not only were whales once land. Thank you.
Well, you guys, hey, that's another one in the books. Hey, I always appreciate you guys for stopping by and watching one with me. Make sure not to take anything as fact and always do your homework first. Before we get on out of here, do me the biggest favor, hit that hype button for me, hit that like button, and subscribe if you're not a part of the iTrack fam, and I will definitely catch you on the next one.